From Trichomes.com studios, I'm Jarod Duggins, and this is Careers in Cannabis. On this show, we will be talking with staffing agencies and cannabis companies to explore employment and career opportunities in the burgeoning cannabis industry. Today marks the first Careers in Cannabis episode, and we begin this podcast series in light of the most recent calculations concerning the national unemployment rate, now believed to exceed 30 million Americans. We are joined today by Valerie Crisp of High Bluff Group, a staffing agency. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jarod. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be talking with you about this. I know there's a lot of people out there looking to get back into the workforce right now, so happy to help however we can.
Perfect. As far as today's current climate, how are you doing personally, and how is the High Bluff Group dealing with the COVID-19 situation? Just touch on it briefly. How have you guys been affected, if at all, or what opportunities are you seeing because of the situation?
Well, at High Bluff Group, we've been very lucky to be minimally impacted by COVID-19. There's been no layoffs. In fact, our staff is growing. So we're very lucky to be able to say that. I know that's not the case for a lot of companies. We're actually working from home right now. So I'm in my home office, like I know a lot of people are, and just trying to stay safe and continue to help our clients. As far as what our clients have been experiencing, there have been some that have gone on hiring freezes or that the process has slowed down for them. I would say especially back in March when this all just first hit and the stay-at-home orders were put in place, there was definitely a slowdown, but we're seeing things begin to pick back up again. We've actually had offers that got put on hold that have been extended and have candidates that are starting to work, and people are seeming more comfortable with the virtual process. So a lot of people are going back to business as usual, it seems.
Well, that's great to hear. And while you would have expected a bit of a pause during the stay-at-home order, it's good to hear that not only is the staffing world growing, is that cannabis in general is resuming its uptick in staffing. How did you get into cannabis, Valerie?
Well, so I've actually been in cannabis for the past couple years now. I started in 2018. I had always wanted to be in the industry ever since we came out of the black market and it became legal. I've been passionate about cannabis for years. I have seen my nephew use CBD to treat his autism and seen amazing results, and several friends that have also seen phenomenal results from using cannabis as a medicinal purpose. And I personally love, edibles to relax after a long day or even on the weekend. I like to partake as well. So I've always been passionate about cannabis, and I think there's no better way to really, find a fulfilling career than to work in an industry that you love. So it's something I've always wanted to be a part of. But again, I've been in recruiting for about 10 years, and I did see one of my close friends, colleagues, and actually a former manager who got into cannabis and CBD sales about 5 years ago. And it looked like she was having a blast in the industry at trade shows and networking events. So I'd been interested, but wasn't really sure where I was going to fit in. But a couple years ago, I was contacted by a cannabis recruiting firm, and I just have never looked back. I'm now in a position where I'm able to combine my passion for cannabis with helping people find their dream job and helping all my favorite cannabis brands to grow and scale. So, it's been a whirlwind. There's a lot of obstacles that come with cannabis, but I would, never pick another industry to work in. I can't imagine.
That's awesome. And really identifying with that, having come from, we'll call it the legacy industry myself, it's nice to be in a spot where we can continue on with the growth of the industry and be in a position to, like you said, help the brands get to where they're inevitably going and their seat at the table. So, thanks for sharing that.
hmm
What brought you to High Bluff Group, HBG?
So High Bluff Group, I actually just started here as their director of strategic accounts, and I actually started on 420, which we thought was pretty cool. The timing worked out well with that. I was previously at another cannabis recruiting firm, and a close colleague and mentor of mine, her name's Marlo Ramirez. She was the former director of talent at Candescent. But I was just discussing with her how I was looking to take my career to the next level. And she had been connected with High Bluff Group and really understood, how their company values aligned with my own, and thought that we would be, a really good connection to have with each other and to help take High Bluff Group to the next level. So I started that conversation with them and just joined the team 2 weeks ago. And it's been really great being part of a company that values the same things I do. We have a high importance on client relationships and bringing creative staffing solutions into the cannabis industry to really help elevate our clients. So we try to share what we know from the traditional side and how to apply that. That includes everything from best practices like writing job descriptions, how to come up with interview questions, and it's great being able to bring these decades of experience we have and our passion for cannabis into kind of the same realm.
Right. And well, that's, experience is the ultimate teacher and helps pave the way for future endeavors. And it's good to carry that go forward. Within that and the people coming into this industry, you see people coming in from what you would call the everyday, industry and employment opportunities, be it from data to beverages to anything else, and outside of cannabis, coming in and thinking cannabis is only about growing pot. Um, you know, there's so many sides to the cannabis industry now as it's becoming an industry. Can we touch a little bit upon, the cannabis plant touching jobs versus the ancillary industry, and maybe what you guys offer currently at High Bluff Group as current opportunities in which markets?
Definitely. There's tons of opportunities in cannabis right now, all different areas, as you mentioned. We have plant touching companies that are doing the cultivation, manufacturing, extraction, processing. And along with that, you do need the same types of positions that you have in other industries. So all of these companies are still looking for people that have the accounting experience, IT, human resources, sales, marketing. All companies, regardless if they're plant touching or more on the ancillary side, are looking for these types of people to come in and help their business. So as far as what the regulations are for somebody to work on the plant touching side, it really depends on what state you're located in, as well as even what city. I know in California, the regulations are different. If you're in the Bay Area, San Jose, you do need the live scan versus some other cities where it's not required. So I think the best thing to really do is to look up, like in California, for example, the BCC website is a great place to get more information on that. And you can even ask, the HR departments at the place of employment you're looking into what's required so that you can make sure to get that taken care of. Other states like Colorado do require a med badge for anyone working in the industry that's going to be plant touching. So it's something to be aware of, but it really differs from state to state and even city to city in some cases.
Right. So as you're entering the industry, it's probably advisable to make sure that you do some diligence, at least on the local opportunities, as even if you are working with some staffing or recruiting agencies. So yeah, no, thanks for that insight as well.
Hmm.
Within the opportunities from High Bluff Group, what are your current listings looking like right now? What do you have anything to talk about for today's show and might be available to some of the listeners that are tuning in?
Definitely. Well, High Bluff Group, we are able to staff anywhere that there's legal cannabis. We have staffed in multiple states, but we do have the majority of positions open currently in California throughout the state. We have our headquarters office is in San Diego. We also have boots on the ground where I am here in Los Angeles, and have expanded into Washington, where we have an office in Seattle. So the current positions that we're working on in Los Angeles are for an analytical chemist, and that's going to be working in a cannabis lab where you're testing products. Lab tech, which is similar, also working in a cannabis lab where you're going to be working with the tested products. We're working on a director of marketing in Los Angeles as well, and a supply chain manager. Now, what's interesting about these positions is none of these positions require you to have cannabis experience. So this is a great way to take if you have skills from outside the industry and bring them in. We also are recruiting on a territory sales rep for the Bay Area. Sales, I would note that a lot of companies do require cannabis experience for this. They're looking for someone that has connections within the industry and can help get them into new doors, new dispensaries. So we're working on that, as well as a marketing coordinator here in San Diego. And I actually have a new role I wanted to talk about today that just came in yesterday. It's actually not even on our website yet. It's brand new. And this is going to be for one of the biggest, most reputable companies in cannabis. And they're vertically integrated. They have retail, delivery, manufacturing. So it's a great company to be a part of. They're looking for a metric systems administrator. This position is going to require cannabis and metric experience. So please, keep your eye out for that. It's going to be posted on our website. And if you'd like more information on the role, you can go to highbluffgroup.com, and there's a contact us link at the top where you can send through your information. Also, feel free to look me up directly as well. My name's, again, Valerie Crisp, and you can find me on LinkedIn and send me a message there, and I'd love to connect to talk about your background.
That sounds like another exciting position. Metric is one of those ones that takes a little bit more of a niche. You have to know metric. It's something that you have to get certified in, and that's something that has come up new in California and Oregon and some other markets there.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned before, as people are looking at either coming into the industry or looking for other jobs in the industry, it's important to bear in mind that there are some jobs that do require, maybe not a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, but industry references and industry history. So you have credibility, and you might want to
Mm-hmm.
think about that before applying for just a sales job if you haven't been in the cannabis industry before, just so that you're knocking on the right door, so to speak.
Exactly. And, there are a lot of ways to get into the industry if you don't have experience. And I think that's a big misconception, is that if you don't have experience, you're not going to be able to get in. So, it's something to be aware of, that you can bring in your skills from outside the industry in. And again, you can bring that in really any area. Like I was mentioning, sales in some aspects, marketing, compliance, HR. So, what I recommend doing as kind of a first step when you're looking for a job in cannabis is to go on LinkedIn and update your profile with all relevant information, even highlight what industries you've worked in. A lot of employers are looking for people from CPG, manufacturing, beverage, alcohol. So, if you have experience in those areas, people with that experience are highly sought after. So, make sure you have everything updated on your profile. You can also network with the companies that you want to work for. Just reach out directly, anyone from the CEO to the HR department. It doesn't hurt to put a face to the name and have a connection there, so that your name will look familiar when you do apply, or you can even reach out and apply directly. And another thing, again, is obviously working with a staffing agency, because, like I mentioned, we do have some jobs available that you won't find on job boards or even on sites necessarily if a employer is searching confidentially. So it's always good to work with a recruiter to see what else is out there.
Great insights, Valerie. Thank you very much for that. I
Hmm.
all of that great advice for anybody listening and trying to get into and or again move up in the cannabis industry. We've had a chance to talk briefly before this, and at one point you said there was a couple of fun things on the horizon, and maybe you'd like to share with us what was coming up that HBG had in the future.
Definitely. Well, we do have some exciting things coming up. We're currently working on a training booklet. Really, it's more like a hiring guide. And this is something that companies can put in place to help hiring managers who don't have experience necessarily with the hiring process. And I've had a lot of clients ask me for this before, and it's really the first formal hiring guide for the cannabis industry, which we're really excited about. So we're going to be including information on everything from how to write a job description, what the difference is between a job description and a job ad, how to create interview questions, how to write behavioral questions to really know if the candidates you're interviewing have that experience that you're looking for. Everything from creating, the job description, interview questions, and even a scorecard so that you can take out the bias and make sure that you're hiring based on skill set and culture fit and not emotionally. So there's a lot of great content we're including, and we're going to be releasing that before the end of Q2. So again, please go to our website and sign up so you can get the update as soon as we have that ready. You can go to highbluffgroup.com and just, again, fill out your information where it says contact us. And we'll be sending out a newsletter and including a link where you can download that as soon as it's ready to go.
Again, that sounds like some great information, especially valuable for people coming into the industry. And again, I want to stress that that's the point of this podcast, is for 1, 2, 3, 100 people to realize that there is an opportunity where maybe they thought there wasn't before. Valerie Crisp from High Bluff Group, thank you again very much for joining us on this first episode of Careers in Cannabis. I look forward to having you again down the road so that we can discuss what's going on here in the next few weeks, because this is not a one-off conversation. 30 million people are out of jobs, and I'm hoping that we can help place more than a few of them. Again, Valerie, thanks for joining us.
Jarod, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for putting together this podcast to help everyone out there. You guys are doing something that I think is really amazing, not just for everyone that's been displaced, but for the industry in general. So thank you for putting this together so that we can get this information out there.
My pleasure. You can follow our series, Careers in Cannabis, as well as more great shows like this one at trichomes.com. For questions, comments, and bookings, you can reach the show via emailing careersincannabis@trichomes.com. Please take a second to subscribe to the podcast and write a review. It really helps others find the show. Until next time, please join the discussion by visiting us at trichomes.com. Stay safe, and thank you for listening.